In this video, we are creating a whipped cocoa butter. Yes, whipped cocoa butter, because cocoa butter is usually on the harder texture compared to like shea butter, mango butter, and a lot of the other butters. So we're gonna go ahead and use this formula to make it nice and soft and creamy, so we can use it in the winter time. Because if there's another butter that you would want to use on like dry, flaky skin, cocoa butter is one of the best ones that you can use. So let's begin with this formula. So to begin, we're gonna go ahead and add in our beeswax. We are starting with 25 grams of beeswax. We are using beeswax in this formulation to help give it a bit of texture. Also, beeswax is great for the skin. It's moisturizing and it is also an emollient. This is a bit of a different texture for me, but one of my first body butter recipes that I created like in 2018 or 2019, it included beeswax, and I took it out because I wanted to make a bit of vegan products, so that's why I took out the beeswax back then, but it's still a good additive in your body butter. I'm also adding it first because it does take a little bit of a while to melt. So I want it to go first, and then I'll add my cocoa butter on top of it. Next, we are going to add our cocoa butter to this formula. We are adding our cocoa butter at 75 grams. Cocoa butter is a great additive in your whipped body butter. I know sometimes people don't want to use shea butter, so cocoa butter is an alternative. Cocoa butter is great for dry skin. It helps to moisturize dry skin. It soothes irritated skin. It's also an ingredient that is added to a lot of eczema products. Next, we want to go ahead and add in our cool down phase. While our phase A melts, which is a combination of cocoa butter and beeswax, we're going to combine our cool down phase, which is our vitamin E oil and our essential oil. We will be adding 1% of each, which is equivalent to 3 grams each. You can add fragrance oil at 1% or 2%. That is up to you, but I do prefer, because this is raw, unrefined cocoa butter, the scent is very chocolatey and nice, and the essential oil scent will stand out as well, which I have no issue with. If that is an issue for you, go ahead and add in some fragrance oil or use refined cocoa butter where you won't have that chocolatey scent. Oils, the essential oils that I chose to use in this formula is carrot seed essential oil. I'm using carrot seed essential oil because it has anti-inflammatory properties and it's a great skin soother. It's also great for irritated skin. That's why I opted to add it into this formula, knowing that I'm using it in the winter time, and that's when we're more prone to a lot of cracked, dry skin because of the winter weather. I also added tea tree essential oil to the mixture. That is my go-to oil for most of my body butters. It is just a well-rounded oil that you can add to a lot of products. Now that phase A has melted, which is the beeswax and cocoa butter mix, we're going to go ahead and add in our base oils, which is our grapeseed oil, and we're only using grapeseed oil in this. Make sure you can substitute this oil for anything. I wanted this formula to be as simple as possible. We are adding in grapeseed oil at 143 grams. As you know, grapeseed oil is very nourishing. I had mentioned that before, especially in lip products and skin products. It makes your skin feel so soft and supple. It has high vitamin E content, and as a result, it is great for cell turnover in the skin. So this is why I'm adding it into my mixture today. Now that we've added in our grapeseed oil, we're gonna go ahead and stir it around so everything can get incorporated. So as you can see, some of the pieces are solidifying already. I don't want that, so I'm going to put it back on my heater to kind of melt a bit. This is why everybody adds like the grapeseed oil, all the oils, the butters, and the waxes together. But I separate the oil from the waxes and the butter because I know the wax, especially beeswax and cocoa butter, they take longer to melt, and I didn't want the oil to be in there for that long. So I'll add it back in to get it nice and melted. Next, we're going to use our handheld mixer to combine our formulation. So this is halfway through the mixture, and this is how it looks so far. I'm still whipping it up in order to get that nice fluffy texture that I'm going for, but it does take a little. I didn't allow it to get super hard because I didn't want to do that, because I know it was cocoa butter and beeswax. So I'm whipping it slowly and stopping, whipping it, stopping, just so I can get that nice fluffy texture. Okay, so I did have to put it back in the cooler to cool down for a bit more because I did want it to be thicker, and that when it's thicker I can whip it up to a point where once it's poured into the jar I won't have a bit of a not so smooth consistency when I'm ready to use it. So this is why I like for it to get like at a certain temperature, a certain texture before I can whip it up to the point that I want to whip it up. Also, this is a bit of a, because of the oil and the wax in it, it is a bit softer right now while I'm trying to whip it up. However, I don't want it to get too hard while I whip it up because then you'll have those little grainy feeling and it's going to take longer to mix it. So you know, it is a process and I take my time with it, and the texture that it is presented now is a good texture for me to go ahead and whip and then, you know, pour it in. Okay, so this is a nice creamy lotioning texture that it will not maintain 24 hours later. But this is the texture at the end, and this is the texture that I decided to use to pour it into the jar, and then I'll allow it to sit. But it does look really nice here. Okay, it is 24 hours later. This is the texture of it. I can press my finger down in it, you know, without having to struggle, which is good. This is kind of the texture I'm gonna go for because I wanted it to be a cocoa butter, a whipped cocoa butter body butter. So it does have that texture. I don't have to worry about it being too hard. You know, I can easily scoop it up and rub it on my skin. It feels good. And one thing I want to point out, it's also not very heavy. So if you wanted something that was heavier and have like a heavier coat on your skin, you might want to opt for like a oil like avocado oil or apricot carrier oil. Yes, that one is quite heavy. It's similar to avocado oil. They'll say it's similar to sweet almond, but I think it reminds me of avocado oil, but that's neither here nor there. This has grapeseed oil in it, and it feels really good. It feels smooth. The skin feels silky, and the skin also doesn't feel very oily once I place it on. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thanks for watching. You can continue supporting my channel by watching one of my body butter playlists or watching one of my body butter tutorials. You can also like, share, and subscribe. I don't know if you guys already know, but I sell digital skincare business downloads, from thank you cards to Instagram story highlights. I do have a Print My Brain session as well, and an e-guide as well to start your own skincare business on a budget. If you're interested in that, click the link below. If you enjoyed this video, then you may enjoy one of my other videos about how to make a simple whipped body butter, or just go ahead and watch my playlist on how to start your skincare business on a budget, and a lot of other informational tips and tricks as well. Thanks again, like and share.